Doom 3, Doom's first attempt at an actual horror game. In 2001, John Carmack would reveal this game at Macworld with Steve Jobs, the man who died of Ligma. Looking at the original demo showcased, it looked pretty good, and it looked way different from the original Doom games. I mean, it even had a Y-axis. This was supposed to be a remake of Doom. This was their original vision for the series. This game was also supposed to be as if Doom 1 and Doom 2 never happened. This game was in development for about 4 years. With it releasing in the year 2004, it had to compete with Halo 2 and Half-Life 2, just to name a few games that released in that year. Though it had pretty big shoes to fill in. It did get good reviews and did pretty well financially, although from what I've heard from people is pretty mixed. I've seen plenty of people praise the game, claiming it is one of the best. And I've seen other people say the game damn near killed the franchise, which it definitely did not do, but you know, some people just love to be wrong. In this video, however, I will be covering the main campaign of Doom 3, Resurrection of Evil, and Lost Mission. And yeah, this is gonna be a long one, easily my longest video, and probably took the most amount of time to make, and I really wanted to try and make this my best video. Without further ado, kick back, grab a snack, and welcome to Doom 3. So Doom 3. I won't lie, I kinda like this menu. The music here is just mwah. I decided to choose to play this game on veteran difficulty to give myself a tiny bit of a challenge. Getting into the game, you get a cutscene and, hey, wait a minute, war? In my Doom game? It turns out the UAC is the largest corporation in existence. I highly doubt that, considering Disney is most definitely still around in this universe. If anything though, Disney probably owns a portion of them, so maybe that's why. After landing on Mars, you are introduced to Elliot Swan and Jack Campbell, and then you get introduced to your character. He is referred to as Marine, but I'm gonna call him Jimmy McGill. Hey, wait a minute, is that an NPC in my Doom game? It's so different. I think I'm gonna have a stroke. This game definitely took inspiration from Half-Life here. You can see similarities in each game's opening, and I'll be honest, I like it. I think they did a good job here. They did a really good job at trying to immerse the player in the world of Mars City. But I gotta ask, why is the Robo-Cola in 360p? You get the PDA after a bit, and it's pretty cool. I'll talk more about it later, but just know, it's cool. Way better than an iPhone. So yeah, the character models. I don't think they're very good. Graphically, I think the rest of the game aged pretty well, except when it comes to the character models. They just look so weird and terrible. You get to hear a conversation between Swan Campbell and a guy named Dr. Bertruger. And I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off now. He is the villain. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, you will regret it later. The mirrors in this video game from 2004 look better than the ones in my school bathrooms. These are the only political parties. Make your choice. Obama. This right here is id Software's best game. No contest. Ew, oh god. What you watching over there? After meeting with Sergeant Kelly, he sends you with an adorable little robot. So we gotta go look for a scientist.
Welcome to the dungeon, Marine. Most unexciting place on Mars.
So now you get a strange looking pistol and some armor.
You sure are curious, aren't you?
Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to do that. He'll be fine. Just contact a lawyer.
Listen to me, never mind what I said.
Listen, Scotty, I've done this a million times. It's not that hard.
Why don't you crawl your fat ass down here and do it yourself?
Because I'm getting paid to make sure you do it. Just finish the coupling so we can continue. Buddy, don't know if I can really help you with anything. I'm kind of busy here. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time, but I gotta keep my eye on this.
Us? Hey, what the hell's going on up there?
You need to go outside on the surface of Mars to get to the place you need to go. And I won't lie, it's very orange. Shit, I'm losing my breath. You find the scientist and he is panicking about something. And then all hell breaks loose. Hey, are you okay, Mr. Scientist? You get introduced to your first enemy, the zombie. Except this guy's a gun. On your way back, you see that. The zombies as an enemy are very basic and really just cannon fodder. They have about 100 HP and can barely do any damage, doing 15 usually. But sometimes you can find them with a wrench or a flashlight and they do 20 damage. Speaking of flashlights, the most controversial thing in this game, the flashlight. I'm playing the BFG edition of the game, so I have the flashlight that Halo Combat Evolved used, except this one recharges in seconds. In the original release, the flashlight was an item in your inventory, as if it was a weapon, and it very much could be used as a weapon. You couldn't use a weapon if you wanted to use the flashlight in the original, which honestly would probably work better for a horror game. One stupid thing about it is that it's not centered in the screen. Eventually you get the shotgun. I've heard it's a pretty bad shotgun, probably one of the worst, but in my experience, it was alright. It could one-shot enemies just fine on veteran. You also get introduced to your next enemy, the imp? I had to double check because of how fucking ugly this guy is. What the hell? There are other zombies with guns, like this guy with a shotgun. Fuck you in particular. Hey look, a survivor. So after that you get the machine gun, which, I'll be honest, I think its weapon model looks stupid. But it is an amazing gun. This thing melts everything you've encountered up to this point in seconds. Or I just have aim assist on. It could be that too. You can also fight fat zombies. There's nothing different about them. They're just fat. Laugh! As you walk through a medical bay, oh god, it's a naked man. You have a video call with Sarge. I didn't really pay much attention to it. It probably had something to do with Uno.
You have Uno, you fucking dick!
Now there are zombies with machine guns. These guys were a pain in my ass in the early game. But the further I went into the game, the less of a problem they became. I have a horrible discovery. The fire extinguishers do not react to bullets. 0 out of 10. God damn it, can I have anything good in life? Going into this bathroom caused probably one of the funniest cutscenes I've seen in a video game, unironically. Every time I see it, I just laugh. I can't take it seriously. You can mess with these walking turrets as they melt everything. If it sees something, it dies. Plus, it's so adorable. So the PDA, I told you I'd come back to this. You can pick up PDAs from dead people in the station, listen to their audio logs, watch videos, read emails and stuff. Also, you do really need to find other PDAs and pick them up to get access to opening doors. You overhear a video call with Swan and Campbell with the Kruger. Starting to think he's not a very good man now, are you? What was that green glow? And can I just take a second? Where are your eyebrows? You can get grenades after that, and they are extremely humorous. Well, that was rude. Later on, you meet... Oh my god, what is that disgusting creature? Ha, idiot. Oh. Ah! This is a pinky. Would you be able to tell? No, you wouldn't. They have 220 HP, and according to the wiki, do 10 damage. They aren't even much of threats outside of that first appearance. They can be taken down without issue. Later on, I got the chain gun from opening a locker. I don't know if I got it early or if it was meant to happen this way. I think it's decent. The gun has to like spin up a bit before you shoot it, and it does rip through enemies pretty fast, kind of like the machine gun. However, it holds 60 bullets, and it reloads pretty fast, honestly. It does kind of shoot a bit slow, but its damage output is really good, and honestly, I think it is worth using. Gotta heal, God damn! You gotta run into this laser gun to go into a vent, and make sure to not get hit. Eventually, you get to fight a new enemy called the Maggot. These guys suck. They have 80 HP and do barely any damage at all. They are just imps, but instead of throwing fireballs at you, they just move faster. Then you start crawling into vents and... Damn it! Oh, hello, sir. How are you? All right. Ah! In this room, there are these canisters shooting them. Does that? At one point, you can even use cameras. Such a shame FNAF copied this feature. Hey, look, it's me! There was a broken window, so I jumped out, seeing what I could fuck around with. Unfortunately, there is an invisible barrier preventing me from having fun. You meet this bald guy who has a lantern who helps you get out of the area you are in. You gotta protect him from monsters, and by the end of it, he just dies. After that, you get to meet possibly the second most annoying enemy in the game. Meet the Trites. Annoying ass spiders that just don't stop spawning. They're very weak, but they spawn in groups, and according to the wiki, you know, maybe this game is scary. This sound though, it's so annoying after the first 5 times I heard it, to the point where anytime I hear it, I just mute the audio. Later, you get to play the best part of any video game ever made. The crane game, baby. Let's go. It's all about the crane game, baby. You have to use the screens to control it to clear out the gas. After getting through that, yet another door jump scare. I'm sorry, but there is way better ways to scare me than this. It might get me the first 3 times, but after that, the effect wears off. There's this guy that is trapped that you can save. When you save him, you can get weapons and stuff, so that's cool. Only thing is, I think there was literally only one way you could fail at saving him, and that's just by ignoring him.
Can you help me? I'm trapped in here. Release the door locks and get me out. What? Hey! Hey! Ah!
Very weird thing I noticed when playing is that I heard a very faint over here. Over here. And after following that voice, I got the plasma rifle. Now, I don't know if that's a secret or not, but if this is how you get the gun, it's pretty cool. If it's a secret, then that's even cooler. So yeah, the plasma rifle. It's very good. It looks like a box. Ammo's kind of scarce, and I say kinda because even on the harder difficulties, I still end up with hundreds of ammo by the end. But it doesn't matter because it absolutely rips through enemies. It is pretty much good against every enemy in the game. Now, something I realized up to this point is that each gun has their own ammo pool. No longer does the pistol and the chain gun use the same ammo. Each and every weapon uses its own ammo. More Trites. God, I fucking hate these things. Even when they don't kill me, because they rarely even do. They're just annoying. Like, just stop existing. Then you get your first actual boss fight. Oh god, they gave the spider sex appeal. I thought this was a spider mastermind, but apparently it's called a vagary. I pronounced that wrong. There was some really cool artwork for the Arachnotron and the spider mastermind. I would kill to see these in an actual game. The boss fight itself is kind of fun, except for the fact that I killed her in 10 seconds. So you remember the Lost Souls? Very iconic enemy from the old Doom games. Well, you get to see the first and only appearance of a woman in this game. Turn into a Lost Soul. The Lost Souls in this game are probably the most annoying enemy for me. These things have a really tiny hitbox and are just non-stop attacking. And just like the Trites, I rarely die to these guys, but they take away so much health. You get to see Swan and Campbell get into a truck and a dying man. Later, you get to meet the most pointless enemy in the game. Wraiths. They're like imps, but you can teleport. Enemy variety was not very strong in this game, was it? You talk to the dying man and a Wraith kills him. Then you get the chainsaw later and a new zombie, chainsaw zombies. They honestly look really creepy, and I think they are a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference. The wiki says they are called Sawyer, so it probably is. The chainsaw is really good, literally eviscerating whatever you aim it at. Now here we arrive onto the lift segment. This part always confused me in my previous playthroughs so bad I would be here for a good 20 minutes. But in reality, it isn't that bad. Granted, the area you need to get to might not be visible because the lack of light. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's Berserk? The screaming is really weird though. So they brought back Berserk. The screaming is so funny. Why is it like this? But yeah, it is good old Berserk. What more could you ask for? Oh yeah, so the Cacodemons just show up in this game. I keep forgetting to put these in my notes because they just show up. And oh my god, what are these designs? I don't really like the enemy designs, I'm not gonna lie. The imp looks weird. The pinky, I'd rather drink acid. Cacodemon doesn't even really look like a Cacodemon. I mean, it had its own distinct look. Granted, Doom 64 also had a really bad Cacodemon design too. But at least you could recognize it. But at least we can confirm, oh, Caco boy over here has a brain. Hey, what are you doing with that BH? No! So you needed to send a transmission for backup. However, you need to go to satellite control to send it. I love how if the enemy doesn't see you, you can just look at them standing there menacingly. So when you are at the satellite, you can actually choose whether to send it or not. Ooh, we get choices here. Wonder how that goes. I chose not to send it. Swan thanks me, and yeah, nothing much really comes out of it. You need to get to the monorail now, and on the way there, you get to meet. Is that? It is! That's my boy! The Revenant. My favorite monster in Doom or in gaming in general comes back, and at first I did think he looked goofy, but I kind of love his design here now. It is pretty much in line with his original design, except apparently he has translucent skin, which I didn't even notice, and I only knew because I read about it. He can scratch you and shoot homing missiles at you, kinda. And I say kinda because sometimes they're homing missiles, and other times you step to the side and they just miss. You gotta go through central maintenance. You need to shut down the pumps to get through. Just very carefully though. Fuck you, Caco. You need to go through a tunnel filled with trites. After that, you get the rocket launcher. It is indeed a rocket launcher, and I can confirm. It goes boom. You need to go outside for once, and this is probably the most open area outside that you get to explore. I honestly wish we could go outside of the station more often. Later on, you get on a Skype call with Betruger. So yeah, when I chose not to send the transmission, it was pointless. Betruger sends it anyways. All this did was give him a different voice line.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my...
After a bit of time, you get to find a pretty horrifying new enemy. A flying baby. It is called a cherub? A cherub? Now these guys are also a really annoying monster in this game. Probably one of the most annoying. Maybe even more annoying than the Lost Souls. After fighting through what I was assuming is a daycare center or something, you get to fight a real enemy. The man, the myth, the legend, Mancubus.
Louis.
Their design is actually really cool. I like the Cthulhu look they got going on with their face, and you know, they got a bit of bounce in them. Love to see it. After that, you get to see Betruger turn an innocent man into a monster. Then you get on the monorail. Turns out there was a guy on there. He serves nothing to the plot, so who really cares? So the monster we saw Betruger make, that's a new enemy, the Commando. He has a tentacle for an arm. Honestly, just stay away from them, or don't. The shotgun can take care of them as well. After opening the monorail airlock, I played a bit of COD Zombies with the Trites. Wonder how that guy in the monorail's doing. Oh, he got killed by a Trite. I'll be honest here, I actually like the Commandos. I don't know why, they always just felt fun to fight. Even when they team up with the Trites to get me, that does piss me off. Ah yes, my favorite magazines, Guns and Nachos and Booty. There is this room with a turret you need to shut off so you can leave, and I did that, and a shotgun got stuck in the door, and I got soft locked, so I had to reload a previous save. It's Bendy all over again. You gotta turn on the power for this room, and after you do, you get a Skype call with Sergeant Kelly.
This is Kelly.
I think he's corrupted. Oh yeah, remember Commandos? Turns out they can carry chain guns. These guys really suck, but a grenade can take care of them without issue. Did I mention that I love the ragdoll physics? Because I absolutely adore them. I walked into this one room and I haven't done drugs. How is this possible?
What the hell is this?
After a bit, you meet this scientist guy, and this Marine just does not give a shit. Look at him. Does he look like he cares? You gotta find something for a portal and... Miss input! You gotta use this cryo storage loader to jump into a vent. It was surprisingly difficult to do this, but I think that was more my fault and not the game's. Oh yeah, if you type in a code, you can get the BFG here. I sense a Valorant player was here. After getting what you need for the portal, you can teleport. Man, this feels just like Rick and Morty. So I was walking down a hallway, right? Then this game just throws an Archvile at me. I won't lie though, if there was actual music or any flair added to this scene at all, it would be a cool introduction to the Archvile. And speaking of him, he's not annoying in this game. Yeah, I said it, this is the only time I have ever seen him in a game where I didn't want to break my keyboard and controller when playing. I also love how bold he is, it's so shiny. Speaking of the music, there is like literally one song and that's it. And the total length of the soundtrack is 14 minutes. Aside from that one song, which is the menu song, it is an all atmospheric track, which does work well here. It is still a somewhat uneasy soundtrack to listen to. Found this dude in a hazmat suit who was just experimenting on an imp. He gave me ammo and stuff, so he's chill. I hope he lives. I ended up in this room with these chambers with some monsters in them. He seems tense. I should probably leave him alone. What the fuck is that? Wait, is that a Hell Knight? Oh god, it is really bloody in this room. And they wrote words in it, hon. There's a couple of chainsaw men in here, so that was something. Walking into the next room, though, why do you laugh like that? You're scaring me. Oh my god, are those Hell Knights? So yes, they are indeed the Hell Knights, and I love them. And the design is really good. After killing them, you go to hell. Literally. And you lose all of your weapons and ammo, so you gotta pick them up as you make your way through hell. There's a lot of babies and Hell Knights in hell. A sentence I never thought I would say. Yeah, I discipline my children with a chainsaw, so what, you don't? I honestly really love this part of the game. The lighting is, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a whole lot of red. It feels like traditional Doom, and it is fun to play. I love having to get my stuff back. You get to fight a lot of Hell Knights in here too, and it's great because I love the Hell Knights in this game. They feel threatening. They actually are a challenging enemy to fight a little bit, and I love them. You can also get Berserk in here. You know, I like that it's here. It wouldn't feel like a Doom game without it, but I've only encountered it 2 times throughout a 6-hour playtime, and it kind of felt more like an afterthought, but at the same time, maybe they did want it like that. Ew, what the fuck are you? By the end of it, you get another actual boss fight, the Guardian of Hell. This guy looks badass, and it's a fun boss fight. He throws out these Seekers, and if you kill all of them, a beam shoots out of his back, and you can damage him. It's not a hard boss fight by any means, but it's very fun, and after beating him, you get the Soul Cube. This is important to the plot, I think. The Soul Cube is a weapon as well. After killing 5 demons, you can throw it at something and it will one-shot any enemy in the game and heal you up to 100 HP. Although it is pretty annoying hearing. After leaving Hell, you have to get your weapons back, but you get them all back pretty quickly. In this hallway, you meet not the Trites, the Ticks? These things are literally just Trites, except make a high-pitched sound. I don't get why they exist. This is like the only time I can even recall fighting them in the main campaign. And there's so many of them, like why? Later on, you get to see Swan on the ground dying, or drunk, you know, that is also a possibility. He gives you his PDA, and that's that. He is canonically game ended. And yes, we also find out at this point that Sergeant Kelly has been working against you and is on the side of Betruger. However, I think it was just corrupted by him and didn't choose to join him. Why does the Archvile walk like that? Oh, look, some cameras. Oh yeah, you get to see Campbell die. After playing around with some bridges, you get to fight Kelly. He's a human mixed with a tank because of course he is. He uses a BFG, but if you put the Soul Cube to use, he's a pretty easy boss fight. Kind of a lame boss fight though, I'm not gonna lie, but you get the BFG off of him, so that's cool. This took me way longer to realize, but at this point, I figured out I could move the explosive barrels. I am very intelligent. You then meet P. Rogers. He gives you some ammo, and that's that, really. After all of that, you get to the caverns, and I'll just be honest, this is where the game falls off for me. This whole cave segment is just okay at best, and boring at worst. It's usually the latter. Damn, he's just like me. After going down the ladders, there is a lot of them. You find another survivor? Okay. Then you get to play with an actual crane. Forget all my criticisms, guys. This game's a masterpiece. Well, okay, buddy, you look more scared of me than I am of you. You end up in this excavation area, and it's fine, I guess. I really don't care about this part either. You get to fight the spider lady again. Multiple of them, too. That man looks familiar. So I found this id Software button on accident, and it led me into this room called the id Software room. Now we get the final boss fight of the game. The cyber demon? Does that dude have a jetpack on? I will not lie to you. This design is really cool. This boss fight, though, it sucks. You have to kill smaller demons to charge up the soul cube and throw it at him about 4 or 5 times, and he dies. And then you watch some low-quality recording of being saved. And then, ew, what a... That's it? The ending really does suck, and I wonder how people who played this game back in 2004 felt. You really don't get a closure for the bad guy until Resurrection of Evil. Yeah, Doom 2016 had a cliffhanger ending too, but you at least killed the bad guy of that story. Overall though, I did find myself actually enjoying the main campaign way more than I thought I would. And I actually see the game for what it was. I mean, no matter how you feel, or I feel about this game, though, it did need to happen. At least this campaign needed to happen. And with that over with, let's begin the Resurrection of Evil. So right out the bat, when looking into ROE, it was not made by id Software, but by Nerve Software. Looking at their Wikipedia page, they only have 3 games, and this includes ROE. Most of their work comes from being an assistant developer, like helping out on Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Aliens Colonial Marines, a bunch of Call of Duty games, and they also ported games, mostly id Soft properties, but they did port some games. But let's get back onto the topic of Resurrection of Evil. It released back in 2005. Legal issues in Germany. Hell yeah. Apparently the game was put in the index of the... I'm not saying that. Meaning minors cannot buy, rent, or be given the game at all, or even be advertised it. Damn, I really thought it would be way funnier than that. Anyways, time for ROE now. The game opens up, kind of retelling what happened in the main campaign, and that the UAC renewed its Mars research after the incident. Normally would be stupid, but since UAC is apparently the biggest corporation in the world, I guess, everything is expendable to them. Yeesh, that character model! Well, you can tell what they cared more about. This is Dr. Elizabeth McNeil. Finally, a woman character in my Doom game. Now, where are the people crying that this game is woke? She's voiced by Jennifer Hale, by the way, and if you don't know who she is, she was the voice of Shepard, if you chose to be a woman. You see a group of Marines walking through the excavation site, and they plant a bomb at A. Steve Buscemi?
How do you do, fellow kids?
Steve Buscemi touches this, whatever this is, and Thanos snaps his entire squad. You get to see Betruger and all of his and 3 wannabe Hell Knights. You get thrown into gameplay and wait, are those Lost Souls with a classic design? Forget what I said during the main campaign. I love these guys now. Turns out these are called the Forgotten Ones. Makes sense. They totally forgot about the original design when making the game. You can also get the shotgun if you go into this hole. I don't know if it's considered a secret though, because I feel like a lot of players probably miss this, but as the kids would say, skill issue. You need to take a power cell out of a generator to put into another generator to get a lift working. Oh, don't worry, bro. It'll be okay. Just hang in there. After going up the lift, imps come back, as they should. You later see an epic 1v1 between a random Marine and an imp. The imp throws a fireball at the Marine, and he just pulls out a physics gun out of his ass and just throws the fireball back. You talk to him and he gives you the grabber. You can catch projectiles from enemies and throw them back at enemies with this. Or grab lost souls and cause them to have a stroke and die. You can even move objects with it. I love this. This is my favorite Doom 3 weapon. And that's why I barely used it at all. Crazy, I know, but you really have no real reason to use a grabber aside from a few times that you might want to. You eventually get your machine gun and grenades back and you find a guy in a locker.
He has no idea what they're up against.
Okay. Trites are back. Yippee. After a bit, you walk into a room to see a crippled Hell Knight. Hey, this is one of the 3 wannabes from earlier. Turns out these guys were called Hell Hunters. He flies around and throws balls at you, but the turrets next to him also throw balls, and you can use the grabber to take the balls and throw them at him. This is one of the few times where you need to use the grabber in ROE. After throwing balls back at him, he dies, and that heart thing, I guess it does something. This is the artifact. What happened after beating the first wannabe was that you get an ability called Hell Time. If you use it, it slows down time and you get to move really fast. It also requires human souls. If you stand near a human corpse, it will consume 1 soul, but it can only have 3 at max. I didn't use it nearly as often as I probably should have because I keep forgetting I have it. Aw man, he was 3 days from retirement. Okay, who's up there? This thing is the Vulgar. It is a clone of the Imp. No, that's it. That's all he does. Its design was originally going to be the Archvile, but thank God they didn't go with that. I like the Vulgar's design, but imagine this was an Archvile. I would not have any respect for him in this game at all. Later on, you get to this segment, and yeah, you absolutely need the artifact for this. Otherwise, you cannot beat it. Even with Hell Time, it is kind of challenging at first, and honestly, I like it because it's different. What is that? It is Super Shotgun, my beloved! This thing is insane. Yeah, the Super Shotgun has always been insane, that's the point, but here it made the game 20 times easier. There's this part where a bunch of zombies bum rush you while red filters on the screen. It's really stupid, but the Super Shotgun makes it go by way quicker. So yeah, it turns out the gravity gun can also fill explosive barrels, go figure. You find a scientist on a Discord call with the lady scientist doing who knows what, probably. You know what? No. You end up needing to go through a sewer and man, who dumped their babies down here? Maggots spawn here too, and so do the mancubuses, apparently. This is way too much for me. After the sewer, you get to go outside in what I think is the most open outside area we've gotten to experience so far. I like it. Really. I really needed the fresh air. Oh wait, after trying to get to the access tunnel, bam, a Revy boy spawns to cockblock you. In the access tunnel, you got a little drone boy helping you, and man, I know I said this already, but they just rip everything apart. If you stay near it, it will basically do your job for you. After running through a bunch of enemies, you fight the second Hell Hunter. He has a spot in his chest that you need to shoot if you want to do damage. The boss fight's okay, I guess. After killing him, you get the second ability for the artifact called Berserk. This Berserk makes your gun significantly stronger. And yeah, it does make you able to one-punch non-bosses. However, I never really used the artifact at this point because I kept forgetting it, so I never really experienced it much in-game. Then you get on the monorail, kill a bunch of demons, then mess with the portals again. And a Hell Knight just hops out of one like a clown car. After a bit more of killing demons, you get on a Skytram, and a Hell Knight spawns and just chucks a dude at you and dips. Now in the research sector, you need to find a PDA to get access to open the door. Some demons spawn, you kill them, then... What the hell is that? Meet the Bruiser, the ugliest thing I have ever witnessed in a video game. It's not even that they're annoying or not fun to fight, because they're basically just like a Mancubus. It's just, I hate looking at them. Is that a TV screen with teeth on it? Why? Whoever thought of this design, I hope you got fired the next day. If not, then I'll do it for you. After dealing with him, you find Dr. McNeil. Why does he shake his head like this and not talk? This is so awkward. Now you gotta shut down the pumping station. When you go to do that, you end up fighting the final Hell Hunter. His boss fight is much better than the last one, and you can only kill him after these things explode. And after killing him, you get a new ability, and the final ability for the artifact. Temporary Invulnerability. I never needed it, but that's cool, I guess. Way to make the game easy. What does this guy think he's doing? Ha! Idiot. I was wondering if the Archvile would come back, and I was worried he'd ruin everything. And look who's here!
Oh my God, guys,
waddling his way to his
Juice WRLD.
demise! You later on use a portal and end up in Delta Labs. Hey look, the ticks are back. I think that's what they are. I honestly forgot these guys existed. And I hate them. After doing that for a bit, you end up in Hell, and this time you don't lose your weapon. And this Hell is a different layout from the main campaign, which is cool, and I love that we get to return here. Granted, it was inevitable that we would need to return but I do love this part of the game. The level design is really good here, even though it is pretty dark. It still looks good even today.
Oh, you nasty ass bastard! You fucking nasty ass motherfucker! That's nasty, man!
16 times the detail.
By the end of it, you finally get to fight Betruger, or this demon called the Maledict, which is just Betruger. And I won't lie, this boss fight is really good. It's fun and he has different attacks, and it's also challenging, and unlike the Cyber Demon fight, it has a reason to be here. Also, the Maledict's design is very good. I actually really love his design. One problem I have with it though is when you beat him, it plays a cutscene of you almost dying, which originally playing this I thought, actual death animations? I was very wrong. This is how the boss fight ends, and then after just blowing him up,
Number 7. Student watches.
The game just ends abruptly, just like the main campaign. I don't get why, but it does. I was told that ROE was better than the main campaign, and well, I do partially agree, only for 3 reasons. It has a way more engaging boss fight, the super shotgun being an absolute god gun, and the gravity gun that I never used after the first 20 minutes after getting it. Overall though, I really did like ROE surprisingly, but with that done, let's talk about the final campaign, The Lost Mission. The Lost Mission was another expansion pack for Doom 3. This came with the release of Doom 3 BFG Edition, which originally came out in 2012. There's 8 all-new levels here, which according to the wiki were cut from the original release. Makes sense given the title, and I'm honestly on board for this. So we play as a Marine with Bravo team 6 hours after the invasion had started. We are the only survivor of our team. Oh god, no, not Jimmy! We get into gameplay and get our pistol, and they throw a Wraith at you. I now know why this was cut. You get your machine gun and your shotgun back, and just like ROE, you do get all of your other weapons back over a short period of time. They throw enemies at you that you should have been used to already from the main campaign and ROE. Then you hop on a Discord call with a man named Richard.
Dude, I want to jerk off!
You need to go find him, so you do, and as you are going to do that, you can find the best thing the Lost Mission does. It has the super shotgun. Yeah, it made ROE easier, but Lost Mission turns into Child's Play, not that Child's Play. It felt better in Lost Mission than it did in ROE for some reason, and I ended up using it the most out of any gun. The only gun I used as much or even close was the plasma rifle. Now you get to this part where they give you the gravity gun from ROE, and you have to move plasma from one tube to the non-working tube. And again, this is the only time this item is ever needed, but I still love that it's here. Pretty much all enemies return here, except for the Lost Soul, Vulgars, and Ticks, even though they rarely showed up anyway. The Soul Cube can be found here, except only on Nightmare difficulty, which I didn't play. I played it on Veteran. Kinda weird, but I do understand why, because your health gets drained so often on Nightmare when I was trying to play this. No new weapons are added here either, so there really isn't much new content to even talk about here. Just like in ROE though, you do need to remove power cells and move them to other generators to power stuff, which means of course backtracking, which yeah, I haven't touched on at all until now. That's because I don't mind it in this game at all. The backtracking never bothered me. I'm serious. Look me in my eyes. I mean that. Yeah, it pads out the runtime, but it really isn't that bad, and Doom games before it did it, and hell, Doom 2016 did it a little bit, and I really just don't care that I have to do it. As long as I can slap the Archvile's bald head, that's all good for me. Man, it makes me wish bald people were real. Like if you agree. Eventually you do find Richards, and you need to find a thing to fix the portal. And as you go to do that, of course, there are demons there to stop you. I won't lie, this felt easy. I played all of these campaigns on Veteran, and it felt like I was playing this on Recruit. I only recalled dying 2 times by messing around with something I shouldn't have. Like right here. I don't get how I died. When you get the thing you need, the plasma inducer, I think it's called, they throw a bruiser at you, and you are trapped in here with him. Look at this guy. He would absolutely dominate me. How is this fair? When you get back to Richard, you need to use the portal and go to Hell to help Richard destroy the portal. In Hell, which is also another different layout, and it looks cool.
Never too much.
You do get to fight the spider ladies again, but like I said earlier, this game just feels way easier than before, so it was really nothing. After a bit of killing demons, you ride a boat through Hell, and then you get to the portal array that you need to destroy. Demons come to try and ruin it. After killing all of them, you get sent back. But when you go back there, you end up fighting the Guardian of Hell again. Unfortunately, this one is more of a shoot it until it dies kind of boss fight with no other things going on with it to make it harder. And the boss fight is probably the most disappointing because it's a really good enemy and a really cool design, just wasted in the Lost Mission. I did feel like it was way too easy and I could kill him in less than a minute. After killing him, you go back after destroying the portal array, and you are rescued, and then another abrupt ending. Why did all these campaigns have such abrupt endings? The Lost Mission was easily the shortest campaign for me. I completed it within less than an hour and a half, but I still liked it even if it didn't add anything new. And yeah, that is the Lost Mission. There isn't much more left here, so let's just move on. I honestly really think this was a good game. It isn't my favorite in the series, that still belongs to Doom 2016. It definitely has its issues, like the Trites. Yes, I will take each and every opportunity to bully these disappointments. I hate you. But I loved some of the enemies and their designs. Huge emphasis on some. The Mancubus, 10 out of 10. The Hell Knights, I think this is when the Hell Knights went from a Baron clone to their own thing. Easily one of the highlights for me. Hearing their loud footsteps as they come for you, they are very intimidating. But then you had other redesigns like the Kaku Demons, for example. I won't lie to you, I didn't know what I was looking at when I first saw them. The Imps are also pretty poorly designed as well. They just look ugly. They really don't look like an imp until you start actually fighting them. You wouldn't even be able to tell. The graphics surprisingly have aged well for a game from 2004. Not even close to as good as Half-Life 2, but still good. The only issue really with them was the character models. They looked like they were made out of plastic and were probably some of the ugliest character models I have seen in a video game. But the levels themselves and most of the weapons didn't look that bad. The sound design was really good in this game as well, something I didn't really touch on earlier, but even with the lack of lighting, you can still pretty much know what is coming after you. You can rely on audio cues each monster makes when they see you, which, yeah, that's cool and all. Just be ready to be annoyed by this. Now, in terms of the actual horror part of the game and the real fear factor, yeah, it's not very good. Even in my first playthrough of the game, I cannot recall being scared often. Yeah, something scared me, obviously. But for about 80% of the game, maybe even 90% of the game, I never really even flinched at any of the enemies jumping at me to catch me off guard. Then again, that might have to do with the fact that I grew up playing games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, but who knows. I did really like this game's approach though, even though, yeah, it really is way too different from the other Doom games. I respect it, and I enjoy it. Without this game, we would not have Doom 2016, one of my favorite games of all time, and Doom Eternal, another amazing Doom game. So that begs the question, was Doom 3 a bad game? No. I don't think there is a bad mainline Doom game. In my initial 5-minute video, I went in with a negative mindset, expecting the worst game I'd ever play. Because I was around people who really only hated the game. Even went so far to say that the Doom franchise was killed by this game. No, that's not true. I could see the argument. However, you are stupid. Some word of advice for you when it comes to playing video games or consuming media in general, or doing anything in general, really. And this will sound super corny and cliche, but don't listen to what people tell you. And if they do tell you something, don't take it as a fact or go into anything expecting a similar experience. The reason why I say this is because if you go in with a miserable mindset, you are more likely to have a miserable experience. Granted, you could still have a miserable experience, but at least you aren't basing it off someone else's opinion. Be original. Unless you're me. And yeah, that's really all I got left to say. Jesus Christ, I've been here for so long. I do plan to make more videos like this, so yeah. Like the video if you want to see your family again. Subscribe if you've never seen me before so I can hit 1K eventually. And if you enjoyed the video, good. Now goodbye.